Thank you. This is quite an honor to be here to help chart the future of the UAE. I'm here to talk about the future of cities. And think of cities as the primary organizing framework or principle for just about everything that we do. The speakers who have spoken before me and those that are coming after me, all of those pieces, architecture, migration, health, we're going to talk about the future of skies, all come together in the place that we live, cities. Let's give this a little context, though. I'm going to talk about the future of cities in the context of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, or the 4IR. What is the Fourth Industrial Revolution? It is a revolution of no other kind that we've seen in the past. As Klaus Schwab, the chairman of the World Economic Forum, says, there has never been a time of greater promise or greater peril. Keep that in mind as we go through this. The hallmarks of the Fourth Industrial Revolution is really the blurring of the lines between the physical, the digital, and the biological, the human worlds. We're seeing this all around us. You saw Olivier, for instance, put on that headset, and before you knew it, we had that blending of the physical, digital, and human worlds right in front of us on stage. Much of this blending, fusion, and blurring is driven by a number of incredibly disruptive new technologies: artificial intelligence, augmented reality, blockchain, quantum computing, and the like. What does this do to our cities? Well, our city space, the places we live, the places we work, the places where we play, will also represent that fusion of smart, sustainable, resilient. Ban Ki-moon, the former UN Secretary General, talked about this revolution as being the need for a clean revolution, a new kind of revolution. Smart, connected, intelligent, sensing cities, sustainable, environmentally and economically sustainable. Cities that can actually achieve their purpose in a clean, green, and economically sound way. Resilient, being able to prepare for and actually stave off the pitfalls that face us in the 21st century, economic and digital. These are dynamic cities. Think of that word dynamic. Progressive, always changing, moving forward, evolving. Dynamic people are engaging, positive, full of ideas. That's what the cities of the futures will be. The cities will serve as fully functional platforms, connecting everything: data, systems, applications, connecting people across the city as they move through the city. But in these dynamic cities, these platforms, people, human beings, will also be able to control that level of connectivity. And finally, the city infrastructure. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Ruben will be commenting on infrastructure and urban in India. The infrastructure is actually that blending, public, private, physical, digital. The infrastructure of this dynamic city will be changing in that same way. Citizen engagement in our future cities will be entirely new, happening across the city, in the place, in context, in a way and shape and form that citizens will be able to manage. Citizens and cities will be interacting in real time all the time. And the city is able to take that information, take that data, take that engagement, and change, morph, progress, evolve based on that. This is some very interesting stuff here. Think about this, and it's already happening around us. People will be experiencing cities, and the cities will be experiencing people in incredibly different, new, compelling ways, using augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and blockchain, all of which we started to talk about here. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, has said, in the future, people across the globe, not only in the developing world, but in the emerging world and in the first world, will experience AR every day, just like having 3 meals a day. That's pretty heady stuff when you think about it. We wouldn't want to bet against people like Tim Cook either. All the assets of a city, physical assets, data, information, people, services, will be available in this new experiential world. We can feel and experience viscerally, audibly, visibly, exactly what we're doing. Cities of the future, these dynamic cities, will be completely connected. We're talking about the Internet of everything, not simply the Internet of things. Everything will be connected all the time. Again, in these future cities, though, we'll be able to manage that connectivity. Humans will be able to transact and negotiate how we connect and engage with the city. These dynamic cities of the future will actually be putting in place and living new governance models, completely new models of operating and funding. As a side note, I'm with a large group of companies and investors where we'll be launching a cities initiative in Africa. I fly there tonight, bringing together massive amounts of private investment, new technologies, architecture, development, to actually put in place these new cities along with the governance and operating models, not only the technical components. Some of these pieces we're talking about are deriving new value from city assets, creating new business models and revenue-generating models from those assets, co-creation of value. Citizens are actually part of that process, are part of the value chain. They're both consumers and producers from everything from energy to data to behavior. Creating new materials and market opportunities. These are some of the big opportunities out there in these dynamic cities of the future. New value and revenue generation. And this is where I think UAE can start to really think about how can we play in this new future of cities. New energy markets, massive supercomputing markets. These markets do not exist today, and yet as we put together these dynamic new cities, we can create these markets and actually generate new value, generate new business models, generate new revenues. There's opportunities there. I was chatting with a few of our fellow speakers this morning, and really when we talk about cities, let's break down the barriers and think about cities and urban areas and regions, mega regions. In the future, we'll have fewer cities as cities and many more regions, many more mega regions, many more metropolitan areas. Huge opportunities. Urban infrastructure as a service. Think about the ability to provide infrastructure, intelligent infrastructure as a service as opposed to a thing that we put in place. And again, thinking about the role of the individual, the citizen, the visitor, the resident, the businesses in terms of that value change. Being producers and consumers at the same time and being able, via potentially blockchain foundations, to negotiate those transactions on a minute-to-minute daily basis. Finally, bringing this back to the fourth industrial revolution and that blending, that blurring of everything. And if we think about artificial intelligence, quantum computing and maybe as being the brain of the new city, blockchain, next generation networks as being the nervous system of a new city, data and information as being the blood, the circulatory system of these new cities. What about the skin, the thing that holds us all together? New nanotechnologies will actually be able to make that skin a living, sensing, thinking thing that covers the entirety of the city, from roadways to new building materials that actually can help the city live, breathe, move forward in the future. These are all new technologies that are being created right now as we speak. In closing, Think of our future cities as smart, dynamic, that word, and really alive. A city is not gauged by its length and width, but by the broadness of its vision and the height of its dreams. Bringing this back home. I would suggest again that the UAE, I've been coming here for over 10 years to the region, and the UAE has always been a leader in the smart city space, the smart communities, the smart government space. And this is a real opportunity for the UAE to be not only a leader in the region, but externally as well, and to take that role. And I don't know if Her Excellency is still here, but maybe we can even think real big and build that dynamic city of the future on Mars. Thank you.